Happy glorious Monday. It's day one of our second week of the no audience shows. I guess we really should lower ticket prices. This is getting ridiculous. Well, it's one of the great moments in education. Apparently, a mother in Texas has been accused of putting her son, who tested positive for COVID, in the trunk of her car to prevent him from, or her, from being exposed to his virus. So that's kind of awesome, throwing your kid in the trunk of your car like a set of jumper cables. You know, I think we finally found a woman who can beat Julie Banderas for Mother of the Year. Now, she faces charges of child endangerment. The woman in Texas, not Julie, but don't give up yet. Don't give up yet, Banderas. It could still happen for you. Yeah, still tonight. But after she arrived at the COVID tested site with her 13-year-old boy in the back of her car, that raised some concerns. According to the arrest warrant, she brought her son to the drive-through site, told the director of health services that her brat was in the trunk so she wouldn't get exposed while driving. When the police were alerted, the kid was in the trunk. He was freed, unharmed. No word if the kid's name is Jack. Just looked over at Kat. She doesn't know what I'm referring to. Now, you might think, you know, let's hope this lady's not around other kids, which is what you usually think about when you're talking about CNN producers. But here, you'd be wrong. She's a high school English teacher, but has now been placed on administrative leave, which means she gets paid to watch the Hallmark Channel. And worse, this trend of isolation in odd places seems to be catching on.
Hey, can I go home yet? I've been here 14 days. I tested negative. Negative.
He likes it. So this is where a shallow talk show host might exploit this sad story as an example of how bad our education system has become. Well, I'll tell you what, I am that shallow talk show host.
Our education system sucks.
Fact is, we're living in a time where teachers' unions are happily sacrificing the education, health, and safety of children in order to protect themselves. They claim it's too dangerous to go back to class, and that would be true if we were talking about the violence. But they're not. They're using COVID as an excuse to lounge at home watching The View, day drinking until joy starts looking human. Meanwhile, for the fourth consecutive day, Chicago public schools have canceled classes as unions refuse to agree when to bring the teachers back into the classroom. Even though everyone from nurses to cashiers to truck drivers to exotic dancers, Julie, have been back at work for months. Some of us doing all four of those jobs in the same day. But maybe the teacher staying at home is a good thing, right? If there's anything we got out of remote learning, it's that a student's chances of learning is remote. And why is that? Well, our education system is the only system exempt from the one tool that makes all of us better, and that's competition. Well, our education system and late-night talk show hosts, thanks to me, there's really no competition there either. Patting myself on the back, but my arms are short. Lacking competition, the schools and their unions are free to do whatever the hell they want. Students be damned. And if your family doesn't like it, you can't take your business elsewhere. Imagine if this kind of mentality existed in other arenas, not just public schools. Well, in fact, it does. See the Department of Motor Vehicles or Cuba. Neither are known for their short lines and highly motivated workforce. Fact is, when you only have one choice to pick from, that choice benefits the entity that's offering it. It's like being the best-looking man at Fox News. It's not that you're handsome, but you're handsome by default. Or maybe you live in a small town with only one cable company. Good luck if it goes out during a storm. The cable company will be in no rush to fix it because, well, who are you going to go to if you're unsatisfied? But if there are two cable companies, it's amazing how much faster gets done. Now, instead of waiting for the cable guide from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., they got it down to 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And that's the public school system for you. They can abandon your kids because where are you going to go? Teach them yourself with that hour you have free between your day job as a cashier at Walmart or your night job stripping at Nude Prudes? Politicians don't care. They work to defeat school choice while enjoying that choice for their sniveling offspring. Yeah, their precious Buffy gets decent instructors and actual books to read instead of metal detectors, mask mandates, and barely literate teachers who can't be fired. But to our leaders, a bad education is like high crime. If it's not their problem, then it's no problem at all. Well, it's time to change that. As one famous Democrat said, never let a crisis go to waste. I believe it was Britney Spears. And even she knows more about education. She's 40 years old and still fits into her Catholic schoolgirl outfit. That's something we both have in common. But the pandemic has exposed an educational system in crisis. So this is a perfect time for a new movement, a parental tea party that stops paying into systems that poison your children intellectually while the teachers sit at home poisoning themselves with Doritos. It's time to fund the students and not the schools. And then the schools will fight for the students' money. But deny those school boards your tax cash and watch them wither and drop away like a frozen wart from Bette Midler's neck. Competition will make all schools and all teachers better. They may not want it the way your kid didn't want spinach, but it wasn't up to him, so let's jam it down their throat and watch the benefits take hold. Competition makes it so it's not up to them. It's up to you, the parent. And that's the only solution we really have left. Aside from locking kids in the trunk of a car with their laptop and a bag lunch, which is my kind of homeschooling. Let's welcome tonight's guest. She's more tank than the dolphins at SeaWorld. Fox News anchor Julie Banderas. His favorite colors are red, white, and blew up some terrorists. Conservative candidate for Congress in Florida, Corey Mills. He's the funniest comedian we could get on short notice. Writer and comedian Joe DeVito. And she's got a case of the Mondays and a case of expired wine coolers. Fox News contributor Kat Tipp. So, Julie, first of all, how's your dry January going?
Well, we're on what? What is this, January 8th?
It's January 11th, right? January 10th.
Oh, crap. Is it really?
January 10th.
9th?
God, we're all high.
I didn't even, I don't know. I started on the 3rd because the first couple days were rough.
Yes.
And then it expired last night.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to start it again, though, today.
There you go.
I haven't drank since, like, this morning.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What was your tipple of choice?
Vodka and orange juice. Heavy on the vodka, light on the orange juice.
Yes, there you go,
Yeah.
there you go. Well, whenever I think of good parenting, I always think of you
Thank
first.
you.
Do you think this woman is unfairly maligned for keeping herself safe from her child?
She sounds pretty narrow-minded because, you got to think outside of the box as a parent. Don't limit it to just the kids. I mean, you could fit so much. In my car, I have an SUV.
Yes.
So I would fit in the husband, the barking dogs, the dirty laundry, and I'm not referring to my dark past. I'm talking about the actual filthy clothes that are just piling up because I don't do laundry. So yeah, I mean, just think outside the box. And I think it's an absolutely great idea. You don't want to expose yourself to your kids. I'd like to lock them in there for the remainder of the school year if they come back to remote schooling. That's the reason why my dry January sucked.
Yes, I get it, I get it.
Calling it a dry January.
It was 5 whole days.
That was a dry week in January.
Days.
That's actually good. Joe, do you think this story, this microcosm of this woman is more just an example of how the COVID panic has just changed people, freaking people out? So they're like, she actually put her kid in the trunk of a car because she panicked over COVID.
Yeah, and if you'd heard that she'd done that to a dog, people
Yes.
would have gone berserk.
Yeah, that is true.
If she'd done that to a stuffed animal,
Yes.
people would have come out of her. And it's a stupid thing to do, because if you're that worried, your choices are kid in the trunk or the ski rack. And on
Yeah.
the ski rack, it's fresh air.
That is true.
It's
I
circular.
think that's called the Mitt Romney.
Exactly. And people went nuts because he had a dog and a carrier.
Yeah.
And he lost the presidency because of that. And
Exactly.
Binders full of women, which we don't even understand why that is.
Yes.
So yeah, this is one of those news stories. I've noticed this weird pattern that I'll hear the story or see the headline and I'll think it's going to be a teacher.
Yeah.
It's going to be a teacher. These teachers, they got too much time on their hands, and I think teachers have gone through this erosion of confidence that we've seen for doctors and politicians. You used to think someone's a teacher. Teachers change people's lives, and then you see some blue-haired lunatic having a crying fit on TikTok, and you think maybe we go back to slates and chalk.
You know what? That's a really good point in that TikTok has taught me more about education because all I see are teachers like saying really weird stuff on there. You know what I mean? They're like, you know what? I taught my kids what my gender is. I am gender fluid. It's like, no, you're not supposed to be actually doing that. And thank you, TikTok, for showing me these people are crazy. Corey, how do you feel about the whole school choice thing? There's a movement going on now to separate the money away from the schools and let the money follow the student. And you're running for office. Where do you sit on this?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that's been a problem for years is that Congress has just continued to write blind checks. You know, we put in billions and billions of dollars into COVID prevention in all these schools, and yet we're still being shut down, and the school boards have been able to run autonomously without any parental input. So my whole thing is that you're not incentivizing these schools to make the right choices. You're not incentivizing them to be better or for these teachers to actually teach. You're enabling them to have this type of indoctrination and shut down when they want because they have ultimate control. So I believe in the idea that the money should follow the child. It shouldn't be based on if you live in a certain neighborhood or you have a certain community that you're in that you're forced to go to these schools. It should really be about what is best for your child. And I think that when you do this, it encourages schools to say, oh, wait a second, we don't have any money.
Yeah.
We're having to lay off people now. We need to improve our educational system so we can get kids to come back to our schools. And that's where we need to be at.
And it turns the parent into the customer, just the way it should be with everything else in life. You're a customer. You need to be you need to be attracted to the thing, and they don't have to attract you if they already got your money. You've already paid for it. Any time, Kat, that you've already paid for something, like, you know, what do you call that? An
Inclusive?
All-inclusive. Thank you, Joe. You've been to Club Med with me. Like an all-inclusive thing, and you show up, and then the service is bad because you already paid for the service, right?
I have seen that happen. I have seen that happen before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we need more options for schools. I just think the government couldn't be doing a worse job. I mean, I don't have kids, and I don't know if I ever will if this continues. Because, like, you don't want to spend that much time with them.
No.
Like, you're not supposed to spend that much time with
No.
them. I mean, like, I've been around kids before.
Yes.
And like, that's been enough so far. So I can't imagine, like, how, I mean, if I were Julie, I don't know if I would have been able to do a dry 5 days in January.
Yeah.
No, I'm really proud of myself.
Do you think
for
that the
last
cause of alcoholism are children? Is that what you're saying?
I think we should pin that on kids. Yeah. Let's put me on record saying
I
that.
actually drink more now than I did in my 20s, so yes.
There you go. See, the thing is, and you only had 4 kids in your 20s.
And I'm only 35.
Well,
You know, alcohol often is the cause of children, though.
that is
It doesn't
true.
work in that direction.
That is true.
Oh my God, that's so true.
All right, we got to go.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.